Back here in Tucson, Arizona at the Tucson Racket and Fitness Club. It's ESPN3. Watch ESPN app and action for the Handball Championships at the Tucson Memorial by the World Players of Handball. It's called the Race for 8 Tour, where we tour 7 stops throughout the regular season, all as kind of acting as qualifiers, where the players gain points, and then there on the 8th stop, the top 8 players are invited, plus some other qualifiers to go in and to the Players' Championship, Portland, Oregon, in May of 2016. It's called the Race for 8.
Good introduction to this match here, Dave, from our second seed.
Well, he ended the last match that he played discussing the ball on this live broadcast, and he begins the next one on the live broadcast, still talking about the ball.
I trust you. Here we go. Linesman is E Ft and Luis. We got bad bounces off the door and the glass.
I do like the way the ref handled this. He said, I trust you. Let's go.
I did that beforehand. We were taking a lot of time rubbing it off. So I got like 4 or 5 of them already done.
They were rubbed off this morning. The balls have been ready.
0 serving 0. Point.
Luis is already halfway to where his brother ended up just a few minutes ago at 1-0 here.
Short ball. Second serve. Right out. 0 serving 1. Side out.
That was clearly, Dave, the ball. I mean, obviously. Anyone could see that.
1 serving 0.
You see that Cordova has no problem with the ball.
Short ball.
Luis Cordova will play with a rock if you threw it down there in the court. He just loves to
Second
play.
serve. Right out. Zero serves 1.
And strangely enough, Sean Lenning would literally beat everybody playing with a BB. Wouldn't matter what ball he plays with on this court, he'd be the best.
But he's not really himself here, Dave, because he's concerned about the ball and the way it's bouncing.
Here's what happened. Sean, for those at home that are trying to figure this out.
I have to replay the ball. I don't know if it was going forward or not.
And Sean's going to take that replay, but the referee did what was informed of the ref, is take out 4 or 5 balls and get them game ready. So there isn't one of these 15-minute warm-ups after a ball breaks. The referee did the right thing. He warmed them up, got all the film off the ball, because you see that kind of strange film, just like a Major League umpire would do. This is what was informed of the referees before this tournament started. And Sean's saying, wait a second, I didn't even see you crack open that can. That was a great shot between the legs from Sean Lenning.
Oh, replay the ball. Screen ball.
Which is a good call. But so Sean's saying, wait a second, normally they say,
It's 1 serving 0.
I hear the can open up, and I hear that popping sound, and you throw it down to us. But I didn't see you do that. You're playing with an old ball from down around the corner. That's been played earlier today, but that's not the case. These are all warmed up, ready to go, right out of the can.
Point.
And Dave, I know you're on the
2
initiative
serving 0.
behind that ball warm-up thing.
Point. 3 serving 0.
And Dave, you kind of saw this coming based on what you heard before this match even started
Side out.
in that discussion from the ball, that Sean Lenning wouldn't necessarily be himself to start this match.
0 serving 3.
Wow. I thought that ball made it.
And that's one rule that I'd like to see change, Dave. If
So
someone
0
asked me,
serving
they
3.
did. If there was one rule you'd like to see change, if the ball hits the server or the player in the front court on the way to the front wall, but it had no impact on the actual shot and the ball rolls out, I don't think that should be a replay. If the ball just grazes your shorts, Dave, and it's a rollout,
I totally disagree, because I don't think The person that struck the ball is making the perfect shot if they have to hit you.
No, but sometimes you have a very tight window, and those shorts
yeah,
are
but
waving.
you didn't make it through the window.
You basically did, because if you're wearing shorts that are big, and it doesn't have any effect on the shot.
Well, regulate the shorts before you regulate that rule.
Oh, you're that guy.
Yeah, I totally disagree with that, because it's not the right shot. If you can't actually
players close off that angle,
and
then you still hit it perfectly.
Call unavoidable.
Short ball. Second serve.
Big setup here for Cordova, and he takes care of it.
It's 4 serving 2.
Referee just ignores Sean.
Point. Five serving 2. Short ball. Second serve. Side out. 2 serving 5.
Big setup.
Point.
Sean puts it away. And that's the Sean Lenning we've been seeing as of late on tour.
3 serving 5. Point.
Ball looks good to me.
4 serving 5. Point.
Beautiful reverse serve down that left wall. That thing just
5
hugs.
serving 5.
In no way Sean Lenning wouldn't be scoring right now if hitting serves like that, and a timeout call from Luis Cordova. That's like 5 points, Dave, in a matter of 40 seconds. I mean, just quickest points you've ever seen here on this live broadcast. Sean Lenning now quickly up here at 6-5. And to me, it looks like the ball's perfectly fine. I'm very impressed with this Sean Lenning here in game number 1. Quarterfinal match, Tucson, Arizona. It's the Memorial Handball Championships. Sean Lenning going up against Luis Cordova. Luis started off fairly hot, but it was Sean Lenning really into his own head there. Kind of caused some of that angst.
Well, all the new ones had that white stuff. I got 4 of them right here.
It's really, you don't know what to say here, Dave.
Okay, time in. Score is 6 serving 5. Point.
Nice shot there, inside out, left-handed kill down the left wall from Sean.
Seven serving 5.
Nice shot there from Danny's brother, Luis Cordova. It used to be the other way around, Dave. Now Danny getting more of the
5
press than
serving 7. Short ball.
his older brother, Luis, who looks really good in this event thus far.
Second serve.
Also in the big ball semifinals of the singles.
And in fact, he stays right on this court. That's how that all worked out.
I'm sure he'll love it that way.
Bad bounce.
Boy, don't see a player get turned into a pretzel often. And that bad bounce certainly did it. And you might even see the bad bounce right here on
5
this
serving 7.
camera angle. Watch this.
There's a crease there about 6 feet high on the back wall that if it catches it, the ball will come straight down.
Point.
That's an elite kill shot. from Luis.
6, serving 7. Side out.
Luis is a get artist, Dave. You saw him track a very difficult shot down in the back court.
7, serving 6. Short ball.
I actually
Second
think,
serve.
Dave, the referee's doing a really good job
I think he's
handling
done it
this.
perfectly.
Wow, that's an amazing shot from Sean Lenning. Love to see that in slow motion, in fact. That's a beautiful, beautiful. Wow, here it is. Watch how this comes right out of the hand. It slides and it's a kill shot at the same time.
Side out.
These two have had some great matches in the past, including
6, serving 8.
at the Denver Athletic Club in 2014, where it was Lenning needing a win or so he thought to make the Players' Championship,
7, serving 8.
and played Luis Cordova in that first round. And they were tied at 19 in a one-game match at 25, with Sean's season hanging in the balance. Sean pulled that match out 25-22.
8, serving 8.
And just squeaked into that Players' Championship that season.
Side out.
I remember
Check
that.
it, please.
That was, Sean wasn't having the best season that year.
Thank you. 8, serving 8. Point. Nine, serving 8. Point. 10, serving 8.
That's a nice shot. Again, Luis is playing about as good as I've seen Luis play.
Yeah, Luis has a
8, serving
great
10.
game when he's on his game. That's why you saw that he was the youngest player in history to qualify for the Players' Championship in 2012. Just turned 21 when he qualified for that Elite 8 there in Seattle. And then remember, Dave, he took the entire second season off for military obligations. He was in basic training, missed the whole year, came back last year, worked his way from no ranking into the top 11, where he was invited here to this event by virtue of a couple
10,
guys
serving
not
8.
being able to start. So I think you'll see Luis start to play some of that great handball that we saw in the
Check
race
it,
for
please.
8-1 this season. Although living in Florida doesn't have as much opportunity to train as he'd like. Not as many
So replay.
top players for him
10,
to play.
serving 8. Right out.
Maligned for his left hand, Dave. Luis Cordova there with a stiletto into the left corner. Beautiful shot.
8, serving 10. Right out.
Boy, Sean Lenning just pounced on that.
Call the serve good. One disagrees. Both disagree. Short serve.
Well, let's see here. Sean could go to instant replay.
Second serve.
That angle looked like it could be short.
Right out. 10, serving 8. Short serve. Second serve.
Oh, this is a huge setup for Sean. And Luis is going to win the rally.
Check it.
Oh, no.
Replay.
That wasn't going to make it.
No, there was.
10, serving 8.
Well, that's the second time this game that's happened. So
Look at this here. That's not going to make it. That's on the way down.
11, serving 8. Point.
And a timeout being called from Luis Cordova here. Not sure if the super slow-mo camera has that behind the back shot from Sean Lenning. Not to dwell, you know, I'm not a dweller. Dave.
I was surprised you didn't make more of an issue of the first one that was replayed, that he hit sideways.
Yeah, that was one that was clearly not going to make it.
I mean, that was actually hit parallel to the side wall from the short line. So
yeah, making more of an issue about the
parallel
ball.
to the front wall.
Let's talk about the ball issue that Sean's had.
30 seconds.
As we know it, the player rep sends out the emails to the players and tells them that.
20 seconds.
And also tells the referees that this is how the game should be played. You should always have 2 cans, 4 balls to 8 balls, all warmed up. Keep them in your pocket. I mean, I've read these things multiple times. They've been distributed to the players. But you hear Sean say to the referee, you need to tell us ahead of time if you're going to warm up the ball. How would that matter to a player if it was warm or not warm? I mean, if it's game ready.
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
I mean, it was cracked open and then warmed up by the referee putting them in his pocket to keep them warm. Because right now it's really cold in Tucson at this high elevation.
Time in. Score is 12, serving 8.
Sean not liking the cadence of the referee now.
But Dave, I know you're not going to answer the question, but I thought you would. As a player, don't you want the ball to be game ready?
Yeah.
You don't want to just be standing there warming up for 15
13,
more minutes.
Serving 8. Out.
That was a nice shot there from Cordova. Inside out down the right line.
8, serving 13. Point. 9, serving 13. Point.
That's a nice shot there. Now 10-13.
10, serving 13.
Great serve. Nice little hook. That was a natural.
Oh, replay the ball.
Oof.
Screen.
That's tough because you see Luis Cordova wants to just jump over there quickly. He knows Sean's out of position and he wants to strike that.
Short ball.
I don't think Luis would have taken that ball off the back wall, that screen. I think he was going to try to jump over there and try to poke it down the right wall. Oh, and the ball hits Luis Cordova. Circle that on your scorecard. That is just so unfortunate. Sean Lenning swinging and missing, which you never see. And the ball hits Luis Cordova, and it's a side out. And instead of serving at 11-13, he's now returning serve and game point here in game number 1.
They both disagree. One short serve.
Was short, so the score is 13-11, not 14.
13-10.
Excuse me.
But it would have been 11-13. Yeah.
Great shot there. This has been a very high intensity first game. Both guys really pushing themselves.
Good game.
There it is. And just like that, Sean is able to just flip the switch and somehow, just like he always does, 15 seconds to get a couple points and a side out. It's just unreal how he's able to do things like that. And a round of applause there from the crowd. It looks very dark from that camera angle. Let's go to Kara Mack, who's with Abraham Montijo, somewhat courtside in that dark room, and let's see what she has to say with Abe.
I think you guys had it best when you described it as kind of a movie theater experience, because we are in a dark kind of gallery back here and it's all lit up out there, but it's really fun to watch in here. Abraham, talk about what you noticed in this last game with Cordova and Lenning.
Yeah, I noticed that, Cordova, he played awesome. He stayed within himself, but he also played aggressive style of handball, and he did great. Sean was like on and off, so at the end, he kind of was on with his kill shots, and you saw the offensive difference between him and Luis, and that's what basically won him the game.
Do you think that Sean was a little surprised coming in and seeing Cordova fight so hard?
No, because he's seen him. He plays hard all the time, and so he's not surprised by it at all.
What do you think Cordova needs to do in this second game?
He needs to do a lot of the same, like stay within himself, but find some kind of offensiveness to his game. Make Sean run around a little bit because he's not a big fan of running. But I expect if he plays his game and Sean plays his, I expect a close second one. But, you know, the offensive that Sean has is hard to beat.
Many of you, including Sean right now, live in Tucson. What's that like to have this tournament held here?
I think we're spoiled. We're just really spoiled. If I don't get to play him like once a week, I'll like say I didn't get to play a game. Meanwhile, other people across the country have to play. No offense to anyone across the country, but they have to play like, you know, B or A players to get in condition, which becomes tough. So we're spoiled.
Do you think that there's any advantage to having this tournament here for someone like Sean who plays here?
Of course, yeah. There's an advantage. It's his home crowd. He's got extra, you know, energy in him, and he's familiar with the courts. So that makes a big difference in all of us.
All right, so you see me having some fun with some players, learning more about them. I do have 10 questions for you.
All right.
First thing that comes to mind, are you ready?
No.
They're different. I know you were probably listening to the other one, so I switched them up for you. Favorite memory on or off the court from traveling the tour?
Oh, man.
I started off hard.
You gotta be easier than that. I think I'll go personal. For me, last year, making it to the round of 8 was a big deal here in Tucson.
If you could be any TV character, who would it be?
You're tough. Jerry from Tom and Jerry.
That's a great one. All right. Toughest opponent you've ever played?
Paul Brady.
Most entertaining R48 Pro to watch?
Say it, Abraham. Dave, say
Fink.
Dave.
Fink
Fink.
made
There
it.
it
That's
is.
what I thought. Yeah, so I heard that one coming. If you were an animal, what would you be and why?
Man, I would be an otter because they're good at swimming and I'm not.
Sorry, I shake my head. It's like one of my favorite animals. I love otters. That's great. And they lay on their back, and it just looks like the bet in the life to have.
Yeah.
One place or activity you will never be seen doing. So essentially, you would never be caught dead.
Oh man. Playing chess.
Playing chess. All right. Favorite movie quote or movie?
Can I say a Katrina quote? Katrina
Absolutely.
Casey quote.
There may be a movie about her someday. Sure.
Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
You need it with the accent, though.
I can't do it right now.
All right. Favorite non-handball activity?
Oh, baseball.
And second serve, go for an ace or play it safe?
Go for something hard.
All right, I love the Jerry. I'll be calling you Jerry from now on. All right, back to you guys.
I think next to Abe there is Tom. And we're back in here for game number 2. That's a nice serve from Sean Lenning, who goes for his reverse that keeps that ball away from that left side wall. Sean wins the first one 15-10. We're going to 15 here in game number 2 to determine who will be in the semifinals.
Second serve. Point.
3 swings, and it's 2 quick points for Sean Lenning here in game 2, who scored
2, serving 0.
the final 5 points of game number 1.
Side out.
Sean anticipated that corner kill and was in
0,
great
serving
position.
2. It's a screen ball. Short. One disagrees. I called it a good, but it was a screen. It was good. Both saw it good, so it's a screen ball. You said it was a short? Was it good or bad? I call it good. Short. They both called it short. So it's a second serve. Point. 1 serving 2. It's a point. Skip. It's 2 serving 2.
Just when it looked like Sean Lenning might run away with this game and grab a big lead, Luis Cordova
Replay, 2 serving 2.
finds a way to stay close.
Short ball. Second serve.
It's as if Luis Cordova's not going away.
Right out.
Sean just kind of pops that ball down the right wall.
2 serving 2.
That's a
Luis
great serve.
Cordova lost to Killian Carroll in the round of 16 at the
3
U.S.
serving
Open.
2.
Actually led Killian 12-10 in the first game before losing 21-12, 21-4, which you say, well, that's a blowout, but based on what we've seen Killian Carroll do, that's pretty good to have a 12-10 lead in the first game against a guy who's not giving up more than 5 points in any game in this tournament.
Yeah, that's true.
Right out.
That's true. I guess that should have been an indication that Luis
3
is back
serving 2.
into his old form. That's a huge reverse. Big setup, though, for Luis. And another.
Right out. Two serving 3. Side out. 3 serving 2. Short ball. Second serve. Point. It's 4 serving 2. Point. Five serving 2. Side out. Two serving 5. Side out. 5 serving 2.
Just over the line. It's a great serve again. Sean's putting on an amazing streak of great serves right now. And
Right
Luis
out.
somehow able to stand straight up and hit that left-handed shot over the top. Right here's the replay.
2 serving 5.
Watch, Luis doesn't even bend over here, Dave. Watch how he just stands straight up and just flip right over the top. That's pretty impressive.
Point.
Kind of an inside out.
3 serving 5.
Remember, that used to be the big thing, was how Luis didn't have that left hand in the old days. Seems like he's learned to adapt to what he does do good.
And Dave, Sean has not been able to build a bigger than 2 or 3 point lead at any point in this match, with the exception in the end of that first game where he stretched a 10-10 tie to a 15-10 first
Short
game
ball,
lead.
sorry.
But you remember, it was
Hit the
Luis
line.
leading all the way up till 10,
One agrees, both agree. Short ball.
Right.
and then Sean did score
Second
those
serve.
final 5, but been very, very close.
Yeah. Some really good play from Cordova here.
Point.
Yeah, and you start seeing some stuff like that mixed in with some good play.
On that wall, it slid. You check the gloves. I'll call it. Let me check the gloves. Where's the slide? I'll call it. It's a replay.
Oh,
Se fue. I saw the slide. I'll call the slide it. I'm sorry. It's 4 serving 5.
but Dave, you tell players don't complain, but then if you do, you're rewarded for it. So what would you do, Dave, if you're a player?
Well, I'm still trying to figure out
I mean,
But the referee also is informed that the players
It's 5 serving 4.
can play through some of these shots. So the players can see a bad bounce and want to take it. The referee doesn't stop the play.
Right out.
The referee just confirms what they see. You see what I'm saying, Dave? The referee doesn't stop play. Rather, they confirm what the player sees.
now there's some chatter between our players, and I think Luis is kind of fed up now.
Yeah, he's frustrated with this.
And
kind
now
of
Sean not
shenanigans.
giving him the ball. But the shenanigans started before the first ball was even hit.
Yeah.
There was about 3 minutes of shenanigans before the first ball was hit, and the shenanigans haven't stopped. And now he's finally reached his breaking point, and Luis is not a guy that complains or really says anything, ever, win or lose.
It's 4 serving 5. Short ball. Second serve.
You know, this match is only 30 minutes long. It seems like it's gone on for an hour. That ball broke.
Broken ball. That's the one. That's the one. That's the one you wanted before. No, that's the one.
Now the I like that. Luis Cordova trying to get into Sean's head. Now he's saying, just give me the one, basically, that Sean won't like. Just
To replays,
comical.
4 serving 5.
You know, it's a thankless job to be a referee, Dave.
Point.
Referees trying to do whatever they can. Sean says, you know, give me the one that has all the white stuff on it, the one that I wanted. And he's like, well, this is the one you wanted. I kept that off to the side. And Sean's still not liking it,
5
still not
serving
happy about the
5.
situation. Referee hasn't done one thing wrong with that.
Right out.
And for those that don't play and are just watching for the first time, when you take a ball out of a can, there's a bunch of white
5
film on
serving
it,
5.
and that can create a slide on the wall. And the referee was informed, as they all have, to remove that by just warming it up with your hands. You just kind of,
Point.
like an umpire will do with baseball, they'll get it in the mud and kind of just, you know, warm it up. But this is to get it
6
to
serving 5.
like it's in game-ready shape. But a player seeing that for the first time, because the ref is actually doing their job. Some other refs haven't done their job, but this
Point.
ref did. And the player seeing it for the first time say, wait a second, this ball looks
7
like it's been
serving
played
5.
on. This isn't a brand new ball.
Point.
Not realizing the ref has been holding on to it, making it warm
All
for
good. They both disagree.
30
It's
minutes,
a short serve.
20 minutes.
Second serve.
You know, Dave, I wanted to mention
Side
something
out.
about Luis Cordova here. He doesn't get rattled. Like you said earlier, probably your last comment was
5 serving 7.
it doesn't faze him.
Yeah.
Where does that personality come from? Because
Right out.
it almost seems like he'd rather be in this situation than not.
Well, Luis is fascinating because I
7
asked him,
serving
how did you
5.
deal with basic training when you have these sergeants just screaming at you every second? And he says, oh, you know, I don't pay any attention to that. I just let them do what they do and it doesn't bother me. And that's just kind of his mentality in the
Point.
handball court. If he's going to play against a guy that's going to complain about everything, he doesn't really care.
8 serving 5.
He doesn't like it, though, just like no one else would if a
Point.
guy is complaining and then getting calls overturned.
Yeah.
Now that would upset anybody.
9 serving 5. Check it.
This game's fun, kind of interesting. Sean yelling at the ref about a ball. Referee's actually been right in multiple cases here, but then very nicely Sean goes, can I have a towel, please?
Check the ball.
Throwing that please in there. What a gentleman. You know, it's like we see this a lot in the game where the player will shake hands after, you know, being upset, and then they're going out to dinner together. It's, you know, it's been well known, well documented. Your dad's a lawyer. Lawyers could go up against each other, but oftentimes seen at the pub, not during a case, of course, but at the pub having a cocktail together. best friends. It's just what happens in politics sometimes stays that way, and then off the court it's different.
A lot of times it's not different, though.
But a lot of times it is.
Not for me.
I've seen these two at dinner together.
Yeah, some people like to think that it's not business, it's personal, but not me.
Everything.
It's always personal.
Time in. It's 9 serving 5.
Big setup here, Sean. See what he does with his left hand. Goes over the top. Dug out from Cordova. That's a nice shot right there, fadeaway. You only see those type of shots from Sean Lenning, Luis Moreno, Mondo Ortiz, and Killian Carroll. You don't see it from too many other handball players.
9.
And Luis Cordova has it. Look at this.
Short ball.
Isn't that brilliant, Dave? Just a little
beautiful.
squelcher up there in the left corner.
With Sean closing in on
Second
it, too.
serve.
That fadeaway left.
Point.
Sean goes down to one knee there and blasts a fist, but Luis is in position and hits a pass shot. Really impressed with the way Luis Cordova is playing right now. You heard Abraham say it, who's sitting courtside. He's a rival and friend of Luis Cordova, and he recognizes when Luis is playing good ball.
Yeah, I'm really impressed myself. And even if Sean defeats Luis here 15-6, let's say, I'm still impressed. That was just over the line and possibly on the line.
Oh.
I don't know. The O should be coming from the crowd.
It's a side out.
The crowd there.
It's a side out.
Referee's overturning his call here, Dave. You're going to get an inch. Referee said, oh, and that made Sean stop. If that ball would stick up, it didn't, though. And the referee's saying, I stopped the play, but you wouldn't have gotten to it. Now the referee's.
I called the serve good. One disagrees. One agrees. So side out.
Look at Cordova just wants the ball.
Took him 15 seconds to get it, though.
The referee knew that he made that call too quickly on that hinder and realized that it double bounced before the back wall, and Sean wouldn't have been able to get to it. So he said, no, I'm reversing my call. It's the wrong call and then the right call at the end. And you see no fight from Sean there toward the end.
It went through his leg, but it didn't affect his shot. He took the shot, and it was.
And much like a lot of referees do, Dave, after a kind of a controversial call, starts to kind of talk about it with the guys that are upstairs and kind of try to look for some validation.
Yeah, to rally some support there.
Yeah, and you only need one guy to kind of back you, and you start feeling pretty good about yourself.
That was a good shot. No. The ball was. No. The ball went through your legs, which screened the ball, but it didn't affect his shot at all. He made a great shot. He won the rally.
See, so I think Sean didn't realize what happened behind him. He heard the referee say no, and so Sean thought it was an avoidable, and that's why Sean didn't put up much of a fight. Now Sean's realizing that the play just continued on, but if you looked at the instant replay, you see Sean wouldn't have been able to get to that ball. Watch this here, David, in instant replay. See, Sean won't get it because it bounces here. Sean would have to dive to that back wall and flip it.
Should have waited. I'm sorry.
Do you think Sean could have gotten from that corner over before it bounced to the back wall?
The referee called a hinder as soon as it went through Sean's legs.
Time in.
Which is
why
Sean stayed there. I think Sean
right.
would have migrated towards the middle of the court, and yeah, I do think he would have had a chance at that.
Yeah, I disagree. I don't think Sean would have come close to it.
So side out.
And that's what the ref saw as well.
That serve would have hit 6 feet high on the back wall, and Sean takes it out of the air. Doesn't want to give Luis another opportunity.
This is where Sean gets really dangerous. He can score the next 5 points now, or 4 points, in a matter of 30 seconds.
Serving 6.
Don't know why Sean's so angry. He's been dominating handball play as of late.
Side out.
I don't know if I've ever seen this much arguing,
6 serving
Dave,
11.
in a 1.5 games where the guy's winning.
Screen ball. So take 2.
Oh, that's just a great deep ace serve off to that left side wall there.
7 serving 11. Sorry, 7 serving 11. Point.
And once again, impressive Luis Cordova gets another point here.
8 serving 11. Oh, short ball.
That was good.
No,
One
I
agrees,
saw it short.
Both agree.
It was about
Second
4
serve.
to 5 inches short. Should be a big setup for Sean here. And it isn't.
Wow.
So
That is an impressive
point.
backhanded flip, and there's a little bit of emotion there from Cordova and a lot of sound
9,
coming from our
11.
crowd. Look at this here in super slow-mo, Dave. Oh, wow, that is so beautiful from Luis Cordova.
Point.
And I thought, let's see how close this was to a double bounce. Not even close, 5 inches off the ground.
It's 10 serving 11.
Oh, this could be the 11th point.
Oh, what a shot.
Somehow that ball stayed up.
Point.
Unbelievable. What's Cordova doing here?
Cordova is on fire. He's buoyed, Dave, by a huge contingent of Juarez handball
11
players.
serves 11.
Much like Luis Moreno in Tucson, Luis Cordova is idolized in Juarez. So these guys fill up vans, Dave, of Luis Cordova fans, and they're here supporting their guy.
Side out.
It's almost like a home game for him.
Yeah.
I would say he's probably got more fans or as many as Sean Lenning, who lives here and plays out of this club. And Dave, I know you've been around Luis when he travels with his
Entourage.
his entourage, and it's hard to get near him. These guys just surround him. They love being around him. Of course, his dad, who's also his coach, is with him.
Time in. It's 11 serving 11. Point. It's point. It's point.
As an up-and-coming pro, Luis Cordova, trained by Dave Chapman, who came
12,
to
11.
Juarez to work with Luis when he was a teenager.
Point.
But nothing Dave Chapman could have even done with that crack serve.
13 serving 11.
And now as quickly as Luis
Point.
Cordova tied this game at 11, it seemed like
Timeout.
maybe we could be looking at possibly a tiebreaker. Sean Lenning just burst
Yeah.
to 3 straight points, just like he did in that first game.
Yeah, I was just going to say, seems very similar. That first game, it was close to 10 to 12, 10 to 11, and then all of a sudden Cordova just goes on this tear. Luis goes, Lenning goes on this tear and scored the last 6 or 5 points and did it in pretty easy fashion. And here he's kind of doing the same thing, all tied at 11, and now he's 1 point away. Dave, I was looking at the rules that were sent out to the multiple players,
30
and this was sent what I
This'll be
have on
funny.
record of 13 times in the last 14 months.
Yeah.
And this is a interesting topic that comes to the rules that were sent out also to the referees and the players. It says the referee is responsible for ensuring that handballs are warmed up in the case of handballs breaking in the middle of the match. The backup game balls should be opened, used during warm-ups, and
Time
ready
in.
immediately upon a ball needing to be replaced. The players will be given a maximum of 30 seconds to restart play after a new ball is placed into the
Scores
court. That was the
14,
rule.
serving 11.
And not to dwell on what happened earlier, but you heard multiple times Sean saying this is the first time he's ever heard of this, but this is not the first time. It's actually been given to every player and referee, and you can't be mad at a referee for following the rules.
Side out.
And that was And it's posted on the website.
Yeah.
Those rules were
11,
given to all the
serving
players
14.
prior to this season starting. Once again, email, text, social media posts. And back to the action here.
Oh, replay the ball.
The players do seem to see the prize money breakdowns,
Check
though.
it.
They know how to enter, which is just one click away from the prize money and another click away from the rules.
Well, maybe not all documents open the same. Maybe for some, only the prize money opens.
It's 11, serving 14. Point.
Now 12-14.
And you have to win by 2.
Yeah,
12, serving 14.
and he's not going away here.
Short ball. Second serve.
And Dave, we will see the Cordovas play one another for the first time in race history in the 5th place playoff if Luis goes on to lose this match. Now, at this point, it's certainly no guarantee, but we've never seen brothers play each other on the race tour.
It's 13, serving 14.
This should tie it.
It doesn't, though. That leaves the door wide open. There's screen, no call from the ref.
Side out.
Oh,
Oof.
no, no.
That is really bad. And Sean's arguing the opposite of that. I even saw a slight hold up there from Luis Cordova.
He took his shot and you were.
This angle will show it to you a little bit better than that first one.
I think Luis kind of walked into Sean's shot here. Well,
He hit you.
You can't see it. That angle really does show it that way because
I think Luis has a good point here.
if Luis can't see it,
It's a replay. There's contact.
I don't think it's a bad call either way.
The contact on the play is the reason. Well, then you could call the contact, or he could call the contact. Because either way, it has to replay. There's too much contact.
I think Sean knows that it probably was a hinder.
Replay 13, serving 14.
And both players pushing so hard for that rally.
It's 14, serving 13. Side second serve.
big, huge setup. This should do it, and the match goes to Sean Lenning, and he wins by 2, 15-13, and that was getting chippy there toward the end, but that's what happens sometimes during these close matches. But this was, before the match even started, it was chippy. And Sean now happy and jovial, back to his old usual self. Sean wins this, gets the round of applause from the crowd here, and he goes into the semifinals, and he will, take his show on the road here and continue on like he has been, playing excellent handball. Let's go to Kara Mack, who's courtside with Sean Lenning now. Kara.
Yeah, take me through that one, Sean. That was a good one to watch.
Well, it was, and there's a good spirit to the game, even though, because he's my buddy, I can talk trash to him all I want, and the ref is kind of my friend too, but he was very indecisive, which made the frustrating experience for me. Excuse me. I got sweat spittle.
Talk about your opponent there, Cordova. What did he come out being strong with, and what did you struggle with?
He frustrated me. The ref frustrated me. I think that was, he had that going. We had that ball fiasco at the beginning, all kinds of weirdness. So it kind of, and then he played about as good as he's gonna play it right now.
Are you the type of person who feeds off of that and plays better, who struggles with it?
No, I struggle. Yeah, my mind, once it's gone for a while. So I was distracted most of the match.
So what are you going to take from this one?
Oh, not much. Just not much. I'm not going to remember this one, hopefully.
What's going to be your strategy going into the resting up for this evening?
No, I might have nap time. And I'm just going to shoot more, you know.
Hope for a different ref?
Yeah, I guess.
All right, thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Not going to think about this one much, he says, but he has.
His opponent played as well as he could ever play
Yeah, that's
in
true.
defeat.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to wrap up this match here, this quarterfinal, and then we're going to go into the semifinals of the men's big ball division, which is coming up next, and then it goes right into the big ball doubles right after that, and then back into the semifinals of these guys on the Race Freight Tour. For Dave Fink, my name is Dave Vincent. We're going to take a break. We'll be back at 1 o'clock Mountain Time, which is about 8 minutes from now, so stick around. We'll have more handball here on ESPN3 and the Watch ESPN app. It's the Tucson Memorial.